I have some cute red nails I should have worn with this top. Anyway, should I put them on? Hi guys. My voice is like going a little bit because I'm like a bit fluid, but you know. Yes, I thought I'd come back with a video, and it's a Mother's Day inspired video just because obviously I'm a mum and I know a lot of other mothers and we all have mums, so I just wanted to do something that was more tailored to my experience as a mother and talk to you guys about what it's like to be a really young parent and all the good things, all the bad things. Just kind of give you an overview of my experience. Like, this is not going to be everybody's experience and this is not going to be all amazing, so I'm not going to be talking about everything that's just great about it, because there's a lot of things that I had, a lot of things that people don't like to talk about, and I'm here to tell you the truth. If you would like to know about my experience as a young parent, what it was like to be a teenage mum, then keep watching. Okay, so I got pregnant in 2011, so that is 8 years ago now, and yeah, I was 17 years old when I got pregnant. So scare back to how I got with Jada's dad. I can't remember. I changed high school and I went to a different high school in year 10, and that's where I met my daughter's dad's brother. Now, I was really good friends with my daughter's dad's brother, and I think through him I kind of got to know his brother, and yeah, through him I got to know Jada's dad, and I think it kind of went from there. I think he was 17 at the time, or yeah, 17 just turning 18, and I was 16 just turning 17. So I thought he was like really older than me because he looked way older than that. He had a big full-blown beard at the age of 17. Like, he looked like a big man. Anyway, fast forward, we kind of were in a relationship for like a year or something, maybe a year and a bit. Yeah, it was okay. Like, it was what you expect like a young relationship to be like, you know, like it's what you expect. It was just like, we didn't really do anything. We didn't go out on dates and stuff like that. It wasn't like that. It was like I would wait at home and he would come back and he would play like on the PlayStation or Xbox, I think it was, and I would play on the Xbox, and like, yeah, like it was just, I enjoyed it. We had a good relationship for what a relationship was back then. Like, we spent time together, but it wasn't really like the time you would expect to spend together now if you were in a relationship. Like, come on, we were young, but it was what it was. Anyway, I got pregnant when I was 17, and I think it was in November, and I found out when I was about 6 weeks, I believe. So I found out in like December, I believe. See, this is going back a long time, so I'm trying to like think of all the stuff. Yeah, I found out in December, and it was so close to Christmas that I didn't want to tell my mum because I didn't want it to ruin Christmas, because I was absolutely sure that she was going to kill me. Like, when I say murder, as in, I mean dead. I didn't want to tell my mum before Christmas, because obviously I didn't want to ruin Christmas for everybody, so I kept that to myself until about January, I think. And I think I was due my like 12-week scan, so just before that I remember sitting down with my mum like downstairs. I remember coming downstairs, sitting on the sofa, and my mum's like sat on the floor on the laptop, and I was kind of peering over her shoulder, but like I was choking so bad, like my mouth was like dry, I could not breathe. I was like, every time I tried to say it, I just couldn't. Something stopped me, and I finally just said, "Mum, something bad's happened," like, and she just literally said, "You're pregnant, aren't you?" And I was like, yep. What I expected the reaction to be was nothing like what the reaction was. So she didn't go mad, she didn't shout, she didn't do anything like that. She just kind of didn't really look at me, and she was saying, "Do you want to keep it?" You know, things like that, like, "Is this what you want?" kind of thing. But she didn't really speak about it too much. I just said that this is what I wanted, I wasn't getting rid of it, and that's it, so this is gonna happen. So then didn't speak about it for quite some time. I later found out that she went to her friend, she was really upset about it and stuff like that, but obviously at the time I didn't know. So we didn't speak about it for ages. Going back to when I actually found out I was pregnant, I didn't even tell you. I don't remember telling her dad. I just know that I had a pregnancy test. I can't remember if I thought I'd missed one or not, missed a period or not. I don't know, like I don't know, but I took a pregnancy test anyway because obviously we're having unprotected sex, so there was a chance. There was always a chance, so I just took the test and didn't expect it to be pregnant. And when it said positive, I was like, oh my god. I just remember saying, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Not happy, because I'm looking like I was happy, but I wasn't. Like, I was just shocked. Then I remember ringing my friends, and obviously everyone's like 16, 17. No, everyone's like 17. So like, I'm ringing my friends and everyone's like ow or doing stuff, like they're not taking it seriously, and I'm like trying to find somebody that's gonna actually be like, oh my god, with me. All my friends were just busy, basically. They weren't taking it seriously. So I don't remember telling her dad. Sorry, I've got something on my nose and it's itching. Can't really say what his reaction was. I just know that I knew I was keeping her, so it don't really matter who said what. This is what I was doing. I just decided, hands down, I was keeping it. There was no question in my mind. And from I told my mum that I was keeping her, she was just like, okay. Like, she didn't ask me again. So that was it. Cheddar was en route. But fast forward now till about, we'll say March. I think I found out what we were having in March. We found out what we was having. Her dad obviously really wanted a boy because I think guys just want boys. But I found out she was a girl and I was so happy. I wanted a girl so bad, and I'll never forget that her dad literally in the scan thing, when we went for the scan, when she said it's a girl, her dad literally put his hood up and walked out of the room like he was so angry. Like, not in a mean or awful way, just in a way where he was so disappointed, and I was so happy. Like, so funny. Anyway, at the end of March, it was my 18th birthday. I had like a meal and stuff and whatever, but you gotta think, I was in the last year of college at this point, so I'm in year 2 of college doing my A-levels. Now, nobody really knew I was pregnant, or in my head nobody knew I was pregnant. Like, I kept that to myself, because at college, you know how the friendship groups are, it's just like the friendship groups, they're just chatty patty, and I wasn't from the area that a lot of them were from, and I wasn't from the area where my daughter's dad was from, and I knew that over that side of town there was a lot of talk, a lot of rubbish going on, a lot of gossip, and it was kind of important to me to just keep it to myself because I didn't want the judgment, especially being young, and I was having a child with somebody that was kind of known over there, and I didn't know him before I knew him. Like, before I met him I didn't know him, but when I met him I realised that he was quite well known over that side, so I just didn't want all the talk, basically. So I tried to keep that to myself. I was continuing going to college. I don't think I told my tutors or any of my teachers till I was like really showing, like 5-6 months. I didn't tell any of them. Just because I didn't want people in my business. I was very conscious of what people would think of me. I was really scared to show that I was pregnant. I didn't want to be the typical young parent, and you know, I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't around anybody that was a young parent. Nobody in my family was a young parent, and even though I was going to be a young parent, or I was a young parent, I didn't want to be a stereotypical young mum, and I think we all understand what that is. I just kept it to myself. So during college I definitely finished my A-levels. I just went to college when I had to. I didn't stay at college. I didn't really spend too much time around people at college. I tried to just go to my lessons and come home, basically. I wore big baggy coats and I always wore scarves, so it like always covered like my bump and stuff. I did actually do a dance A-level, so because I was quite advanced at dance anyway, that was just something that I've done forever up until I had my daughter. I was already at a really high level, so they allowed me to stop dancing at about 5 months pregnant. Obviously no, I think only 1 or 2 people, like my closest friend Tila, she was in my dance class, she knew, but I think everyone else didn't know why I'd stopped dancing. But yeah, I stopped, but I still managed to get an A star. So I was really proud of that. Jada made her way into the world on the 13th of August 2012, and I got my A-levels on the 16th of August 2012. So when I went to go get my A-levels at my college, I took Jada in her little car seat and I went with my mum and stuff, and you know, people were kind of looking. I remember like seeing a few teachers that I had and whatever else that didn't know, and I was like, yeah, this is my daughter, like I had her 3 days ago. And they were like, no. Like I remember some of them did not believe me, like hands down did not believe that that was my ship. They thought I were taking the mick, like they did not believe me. But yeah, it was great. I got my A-levels and I got my A star, my A and 2 C's, so that was good. I'd always been really academic, like I always knew I was going to push myself academically no matter what, so just to prove that I wasn't going to fail, if that makes sense. Like I put a lot of pressure on myself to succeed in other areas so that me becoming a mum wasn't looked at as something that had caused me to fail. So fast forward now again, I took a year out. My tutor at college was really upset that I didn't go straight to uni, but I think it's because he was a male and he didn't really understand me being a female and being pregnant. I wanted that first year with my child, so I took that year out. I think my tutor was scared that I wasn't going to go back ever, and I knew that I was going to go back, so to me I wasn't worried. So I took that first year out. That's when I moved out of my mum's house. So literally in the July before I had Jada, so the month before I had Jada, I moved out into my own little 2-bed property. And that was hard, like that was hard. Like when I say I didn't have nothing to my name, I borrowed my mum's sofa, I borrowed my mum's TV, I had a little like IKEA table stand thing that had the big box TV on it. I had a £16 IKEA table in the middle of the room with a rug that already came with the house. Yeah, I didn't really have anything. Like a couple of people bought me little bits and bobs, but I brought my bed from my mum's house, my drawers from my mum's house, my wardrobe. I got everything for Jada online, whether it was eBay or like the cot, I think was eBay. Like I got things secondhand basically. Everything was like secondhand and stuff, and like obviously at the time that's what I could afford. Like I was a young parent, that's what I was doing, like to be able to get everything that I needed and still be able to survive on my own. It was difficult, and that's why like I don't even look at myself now and think, oh my god, you're doing so well, because you always just look at yourself and want to push yourself and improve yourself, don't you? But to where I am now, to where I was when I moved out to my first home, like worlds apart. Basically nothing in the house was like nice and new and stuff really. I just bought the necessities because at the end of the day I was about to have a child and she was gonna have to have so much stuff that I wasn't really thinking about sorting the house out nicely. I had Jada, and as I said already, I got my A-levels and whatever. I had that year out of college. Now that year, I'm not out of college, sorry, had that year out of education before I went back to uni. In that first year, I think I just literally stayed at home. So I was on benefits. I didn't have a car. No, I didn't have a car. No, I didn't have a car yet, but I got my license. So I got my license in that first year. I would just take Jada to like mum and daughter stuff, like baby massage, and you know, take her to the children's centre where there was like sensory rooms and things like that. I was just like really hands-on as a parent, which I loved doing. But then as well, I would miss out on a lot of stuff that people were doing my age. Now, don't get me wrong, I had so much support with Jada. Like my mum was the most supportive parent. Like she would have Jada most of the time whenever I want, not most of the time, but I mean when I asked, she would have her most of the time I asked, if I wanted to go out and stuff like that. I never felt restricted really. Like I wanted to be at home with her, and when I wanted to go out with my friends I could, so it wasn't really a problem. But I think where the struggle came was being at home and still having a maturity that was like, it was less, I wanted to be less mature than I had to be as a parent, and it was hard because I would kind of take that out on Jada. So when she was young, I wouldn't even say when she was young, like even now sometimes I feel like, you know, I'm being so transparent with you guys because I'm trying to be honest so that people that go through things as a parent, young parent, old parent, whatever, can understand that it's not just you, or like there might be other people that feel like this, they might not, it might just be me, I might just be an evil bitch. But you know, I just want people to not feel like so alone in their feelings about being a parent. So that's why I'm trying to be really transparent. So anyway, I feel like when Jada was a baby, I took out my anger on her sometimes because I was really stressed with having to do this. Like I was never good at doing anything that I had to do. I like to do things that I want to do. When I had to do things that I had to do, it would stress me out. So I feel like then I would get frustrated with her, like I would maybe shout, or you know, not be like crazy, but just could tell within myself that I was getting frustrated and like stressed, and then it would make me feel bad. So then I would feel guilty about feeling that way because I knew I shouldn't feel that way as a parent. I shouldn't be taking it out on her, but it felt like I couldn't help it. So on one hand I felt really angry and stressed, and on the other hand I felt really guilty and sad because I couldn't believe that I was taking out my own anger on this innocent little thing. And yeah, it was just a tug of war between the two all the time. So you become quite depressed, like, and anxious and stuff. So I was definitely going through a space of like feeling a little bit uncomfortable, but still moving forward, you know, still doing the things that you should be doing as a parent, and still loving and adoring her because she was just my little baby. But there was just things in me that I was trying to grow, and as you try and grow, you kind of hit these roadblocks and it feels like, oh my god, I'm doing everything wrong, like it's so stressful. And you can either use that to push yourself forward, or it becomes something that continues to push you back, and then you feel like really shit about it. So I was in that tug of war anyway for, I don't know how long, honestly. Like it would come and go. Like when I was distracted, I was fine. When I was with my friends, I was fine. When I was doing things that didn't bring me so much stress, I was okay. You know, having Jada wasn't always stressful, but I just mean the times where you become stressed as a mum, where your baby might be crying a lot. Like Jada was a good baby, to be fair, but you know, just the little things, like if there was a little thing that would stress me out, it would feel like it's stressing me out more than it should be, if that makes sense. I kind of had to try and get that under control before, you know, it got out of hand, because I just started feeling like I shouldn't be feeling like this as a mum. I should just be happy and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a big deal. Like I don't even think I realised, like I don't even think now I sit back and realise how much of a big deal it is to be so young and to be a parent. Like, because everybody makes it look so easy, like it looks great. And me and Jada look great. Me and Jada will just take a picture together, take videos together, and it looks like the best thing since sliced bread. Like we look great. It looks like a flipping, do you know what I mean? This is like, if you put us in a magazine, we'll sell as a mum and daughter, like young mum story. Like you would want to go out and do it. Like, and I don't want to encourage young people to go out and have babies young and things like that, because just because it looks great on paper or on social or whatever, this isn't how you want life to be. There's a reason why there's a traditional way to do things, and I'm not saying that's the only way to do things, and I'm not saying that having Jada was something that I would take away, because it isn't. But I would strongly advise waiting to have children, purely because you allow yourself to grow, make mistakes, and mature and experience everything that life has to offer before you then try and build a life with a child that you're completely responsible for. I don't think that the responsibility side of things kicks in until you're physically having to do it, and I think that's so important. If you don't have a child, it's impossible to understand the responsibility and what it takes, but you will take that step anyway because you're not sure you know, it looks so good, it looks great, so why not have a child, why not? But I'm telling you, live life first. Like, this is coming from somebody that's been there, yeah? Live life, enjoy yourself, make bad decisions, make good decisions, learn from things, grow, experience things, travel, love again. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you want to do all those things before you have no choice but to put all your eggs in your child's flipping basket. Like, why add a child to the mix before you've done everything that you want to do? Don't get me wrong, there's people that are going to disagree with me, and that's fine, but I'm just speaking from my experience and knowing a lot of people that have also had children young, not as young as me, but had children young, and they agree. So like, I'm just spreading it, because at the end of the day, nobody's sitting there telling you don't do it, and I am. Like, don't do it. This is me saying it from the deepest, most loving place ever. Like, I'm saying it because you deserve to experience life before you have no choice but to be completely responsible for another human being. Like, it's a big deal, and I can't stress it enough. But let me get back on track anyway. That was a lot. The year went, and yeah, I was like up and down with my emotions a little bit, but you know, at the end of the day, I was a new parent. Like, who isn't? I still enjoyed it. Jada grew beautifully. She had a great first birthday party. Everything was just great. I felt like I was doing everything as a parent that I should be, even though I was getting a bit more stressed behind closed doors. It was something that I was going to work on, and ultimately I felt like Jada wasn't going to be, you know, she wasn't going to be affected by the way I was feeling. At the time I felt like, oh my god, what am I doing to my child? But it wasn't as bad as in my head I was making it seem. But I just felt very guilty about it, and you will constantly go through that guilt feeling when you've got children, because on one hand you want to be their best friend, on the other hand you've got to be a parent and be responsible for them. So you're always going between feeling guilty about doing the right thing, or, you know, it's just a tug of war all the time.